Hello
Hey,
there. Welcome.
Hey guys.
Yes, we
hey,
are
welcome.
live with Two Broke Witches. How are you?
Woo! We are back. It's been a minute.
It's been a while with so much
Oh,
stuff.
life happens, but we want to start out by thanking WRFM and WDJY and Ross at Yerg's Radio and Rainbow Radio. Thank you for having us. Thank
Yes, thank
Ross.
you.
We love you. Mwah.
Well, all right then. Your internet went out again.
Mine's been doing the same thing today, so you know what? We'll see what happens.
Synchronicity.
I think maybe
Oh,
we have a delay or something going on here. I'm not sure.
Okay.
probably because I only heard 3 words. So yes, whatever you
Yep.
asked.
I said, "Hey Shay, how's it going?"
Oh, I'm here and I'm it's Monday and I am ready for 2024 to make its flippin' exit. And yeah, let's bring on next year
Yeah.
already. Because good God, the end of this year has just completely kicked my butt. So
Yes.
mhm.
We always find the end of the year brings the worst. It's really weird.
I don't understand. It's like, let me put you through all this awesomeness, and at the very end, let's just blow everything up.
Yes. Last year, my husband had a kidney stone. Like right at the end of the year, he was in the hospital for 3 days for the new year, and we missed all of New Year's. And that started like our deductible over on our insurance and everything.
Oh
It was
God.
insane. Like it's always the end of the year. He hates Christmas because of this. There's always
Oh
something at Christmas. Yeah.
well, I mean, holidays are rough for everybody for all sorts of reasons. So I mean, I get
Yeah.
it. I'm not like there's a Santa thing on the back of this chair, but like I'm not feeling so Christmassy yet. I've got to like decorate or maybe just let my child completely have all the excitement for me. So I'm getting there.
I
How are you?
decorated. I love decorating, and we had like the Friendsgiving, on Saturday. So I went ahead and decorated before everyone got here Saturday. It was great.
Oh,
I love the Christmas lights and then it snowed. I was like, oh, this is so perfect to start off. But it's also a little early for snow.
well, it's
I think
December.
I think it should snow like Christmas Day than be gone.
I actually I like this. I mean, my birthday's in January, like right after New Year's. So
Yes.
usually
Yeah.
I'm good with snow up to my birthday, and then I'm like, yeah, beach weather time. Let's, but we get false winter for like 17 weeks. It's kind of just awesome here in Kentucky. So
Yes. My
love
birthday
it.
is January 30th, and in 2020, I was sitting in Jamaica on a beach for my birthday. And, once I
Nice.
have enough money, I want to do that every year.
Oh my God. I'm supposed to be in New Orleans on my birthday on the
That's
3rd.
right. Yes.
Uh, we will, if anybody would like to donate to my first time to New Orleans on my birthday, feel free because right now I will just be sitting in the room and walking around. Like it's, I'll be there, but like broke is real, especially after the holidays.
And I went to New Orleans. That's where we left for the cruise, where I was in Jamaica
Oh,
for my
okay.
birthday. We were on a cruise. And besides the hotel, you don't need a lot of money. You need money for the alcohol so you can drink as you
Well,
walk.
there's a few things that like I want to eat a good amount of
Yes,
really good food, and
beignets, shrimp
there's a
po'
couple of
boy.
tours. There's a
Yes.
few like a haunted pub crawl and something else I'd like to do on my actual birthday. So
Yeah.
I'm not planning on spending a ton, but if anybody would like to buy me a birthday shot, feel free. I will be all down
Yes.
for that.
Oh my gosh, we need your Venmo. We need to share your Venmo for your birthday.
Oh, yeah, so we will do that, and I will be recording some
Yeah.
stuff because I have an experiment I would like to try at one of the locations that I've pretty much dreamed about, and we're gonna see what happens. I'm actually gonna see if somebody will communicate with you while I'm there. I haven't told you about this yet, but yeah, there's something I want to try, so
Oh, sweet. This sounds great
I'm excited.
because I'll be in Alabama with Glenn on January
That's
3rd and
right.
4th. Yeah.
Okay.
That's real.
Okay.
And
This
Everybody's
could be
Greg,
Greg's movie, so
really
yeah.
yeah, we're really excited for Greg's movie, Land Between the Lakes. Like, that's here in Kentucky. So that's really what we're about is hauntings here in Kentucky, paranormal in Kentucky. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the cryptids of Kentucky. I'm so excited about this show tonight.
UFOs.
Yes. One of my favorite stories out of Kentucky for UFOs. I'm so excited.
Okay, I can't wait to hear the things that you have too. So okay, so like I said, it's the whole what's hidden in the hills. We have a lot of hills. We have the Eastern Kentucky. You have the weirdness of Western Kentucky. I don't even know what to say about that part of the world. Then you have Southern Kentucky, which I don't even know what to say about that. There's a few places in Southern Kentucky that just kind of give me the legit creeps. So
Yes.
Northern Kentucky, yeah, I go up,
Eh,
Cincinnati,
yeah.
Newport, Louisville area.
Newport has a little history to it.
Newport's got some weird vibes too in certain areas, connected
Yeah.
to like the Cincinnati area. That whole place there has a weird history, and then it's got the huge history of like crimes and connections with the mob and the underground city tunnel things. Like there's a lot there to explore. So the state has a little bit of everything for everybody.
The amazing when you look into it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel so small when you start researching stuff and you're like, oh, maybe it is
No.
bigger than I remember in my 37 years, but
Yeah, the underground tunnels are really creepy. Where they were gonna do the subway and everything, and then yeah, I mean, when you look into it all, it's pretty
well,
weird.
we have one of the largest case systems ever in Kentucky. Basically,
Yeah,
our entire state is built on one big cave system, everything
yeah.
underground. Plus, the entire state is basically all limestone, which has a whole bunch of metaphysical properties, which a lot of people will go back and forth with and tell you this does add to the weird things that we have happen here. It lends itself to give off some extra energeticness. So, and tons of water,
Yeah.
tons of
People
rivers,
come
creeks,
from Oh, yeah, we're gonna talk about
lakes.
Harrington Lake a little bit tonight. Yeah.
What about the quartz property? Is there a lot of quartz in Kentucky?
So the geodes that I found, even when I was a kid, it's a lot of quartz. There's citrine, um, slate like crazy. Um, there's a few other ones, but I mean, the one geode that I found like as I was like 8 years old, I still have it. It's like this big chunk. It's a mix of citrine and quartz and smoky quartz and something else that someone told me once, and I don't remember the name of it. But yeah,
We have a lot of limestone. That's Kentucky is your limestone.
and coal.
Coal. Yeah.
Coal. I mean, just you pick a spot somewhere on Eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia border, and you probably have coal. So
Yeah.
okay.
So we were gonna start with like some family history, Shay. You wanna start with
Yes.
that?
Do you want to? How do I do this? Because I have like a little bit of each weird thing. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but in the South, a lot of times people have family Bibles. And it will have there'll be like a family tree, important dates will be listed, like births, deaths, weddings, um, significant events that happen to the family or the owner of the Bible. I am fortunate enough that I had a few of my grandparents' Bibles somewhere, although it seems to have disappeared, like literally just went poof, is my grandfather's Bible. And that was the one I was going to highlight the most. I don't remember the exact date. But if you're like me, my grandfather and my grandmother, some of the most God-fearing people I have ever known in my entire life. What they said, I mean, you could literally bank your life on it. And if they told you something happened, it happened. Like it wasn't, they're not making this stuff up. And if something happened important enough to be written into the Bible, like I'll show you, I've got this one, and this one's actually falling apart. And this one, they have some really cool things. Like there's even stuff in there about like my great grandfather going to World War I, my grandfather going to war. Like there's a bunch of stuff in there. So Orlando, my grandfather, my mom's dad, that man never ceases to fascinate me, even though he's passed on. Raised me pretty much half the time we were at their house. We never lived further than 5 minutes from them the whole time I've been alive. This man had stories for days. Okay. And it wasn't till I got into my teens, that you don't really start to pay attention to stuff until later on in life. And then when I started doing like paranormal investigations and all these different things, there was like ghost stories or weird things that happened in the houses growing up or in the hills. My grandfather in his Bible has recorded down, there was at least 2 significant events, and dates were listed. And I cannot think of the dates, but it happened that he saw a UFO. Okay. This is not uncommon for the area that they're from. They lived in Sawyersville, which is in McGoffin County, which is in the Appalachian Mountains. And my grandfather was not the person, again, to make up crap. Okay. Like, So I do remember him telling me before, because we used to have this conversation about what we thought UFOs were and what aliens were, because, there's a lot of debate. What are they? Are they angels? Are they actually demons? There's a bunch of stuff. My grandfather told me that him and one of my great uncles, one of his brothers, saw this thing at the same time. Another response that he had in there was another date that was actually listed, and people actually called into the radio station is what he had wrote down. So this was like, the second one was like a multiple person saw this, like the whole county saw this, and it was on their radio station. If you look at like the UFO map for our state, they live in one of the hottest, it's a hot spot for this kind of sighting, in Kentucky. So the day I believe that aliens existed was the day that Orlando Reed told me, hey, so I've seen a couple of times. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Lo and behold, if I didn't find that in his Bible later on, I was like, oh my God, like for real, he saw these things. Like he described the shape, the color, how long it was there, did it hover? And I mean, it's very detailed. I'm so angry that I can't find that tonight, but yes. So I know, but if you look it up, I was trying to find it earlier. My internet's been so crappy though. And I was trying to go back into the history of like Sawyersville and see if I could find something on their radio station to find the dates. But I do remember it was my mom, I think I was talking to before. And she's like, I think I actually remember that in the radio station thing and people calling in and like calling to the police department and reporting stuff. So
yeah.
So yes, I am a believer. That's not the only reason why. I've had an experience myself, but it was not in Kentucky. So yes, UFOs. There's a lot of sightings. There is a huge one that I think Amanda's going to tell us about. What was the biggest one that goes down in history for Kentucky as far as UFOs go?
Yes. So that was January 6th, 1976. I get goosebumps just like, ah!
Oh, just for the record, I think one of those sightings he had in there was like in 79 or 76. It was about that same time.
I was going to ask you about the color of the lights. Do you remember the color of the lights?
No, I just remember one of them. He was like, it was so bright it didn't have color. Like it almost, it was a weird way he described it. Like I think you had to be there, but it wasn't like a particular, like a blue or a green or
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm going to just read from my notes here. So 3 Kentucky women abducted in 1976, January 6th. There's actually a play called High Strangeness that is about this abduction. It was in Stanford, Kentucky. So Mona Stafford was celebrating her 36th birthday, and Louise Smith and Elaine Thomas were with her, and they headed to her birthday dinner to celebrate at Redwood's restaurant. They ate and had no alcohol. Everything went fine, and they headed home around 11:15 p.m. when they spotted a bright red object in the sky. Mona thought it was a burning plane, but realized it was much larger. She said it was bigger than 2 houses. About a quarter of a mile down the road, a blue light shines in their rear view window, and they realize it's coming from the same object. Suddenly, something took control of the car from Louise and sped up to 85 miles per hour. They all began to feel a burning in their eyes. The dashboard lights flickered, indicating the engine had stalled, yet they continued rolling down the road at 85 miles per hour. Moments later, they find themselves 8 miles away on the outskirts of Houstonville, Kentucky, with an hour and 20 minutes gone from their memories. They had red burn-like marks on their necks and irritated eyes. Louise found her watch was spinning like crazy, and when she splashed water on her face, it left her hands burning. So the blue light is what I was waiting to see if you said a blue light.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's okay. Investigators confirmed that other individuals in the area reported UFO sightings the same night. They were all given a lie detector test with no issues. So they all had the same story, separated from each other. So there's that. And they were all given that same test. Extensive hypnotic regression was used to determine that during that lost time, they were taken aboard the object and medically examined by shadowy beings resembling traditional alien depictions.
Mm-mm.
And they all had the same story. It's my favorite story out of any UFO story I've heard from anyone. And it's from 1976 here in Kentucky. It's been recorded in newspapers. They've done multiple interviews. I mean, it's huge. And it's one of the biggest stories in all of history.
Mm-mm.
So that's coming up on 50 years, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. In 2026, it'll be 50 years on January 6th. And it's the most amazing story I've ever heard.
Good Lord. So I wish I could see what the light color was. I will say that he did talk about how large this thing looked. Like it wasn't some little tin can. I do
like
know for a
she
fact
said.
the one him and his brother saw, he said it was huge. I'm talking like
she
monstrous.
said it was larger than 2 houses. Yeah. Yeah. So it was definitely huge. That's one of my favorite stories out of Kentucky. And I'm a little obsessed with it. I've told people this story like several times over the years.
That area they were in, that's like in the Danville area and stuff, right? Houstonville and Stanford, that's down there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Stanford, I've been through there multiple times.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I mean, it's not far from us at all.
I never had the feeling like, hey, I could totally live here. I was like, let's increase the speed through the one stoplight that I have in front of me because I don't really want to be here at the moment. No offense to anybody who
Yeah.
lives there, but it is a strange area.
Yeah. My dad was in the Masonic Lodge and Knights of Pythias Lodge, and we went to Danville and that area every year for a lodge thing. And yeah,
My
it's a
grandfather was a
neat
Mason.
area. Oh, really? I didn't see. We always find out something we have in common.
We do. It's kind of weird. But yeah, my
It
grandfather was a
is.
Mason for a very long time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's a whole
I
nother
hate that in
show.
movies. Yeah, in movies they depict they're so bad and they're not.
I wouldn't say bad. Freemason, again, this could be a whole nother show. That's a whole
Yeah.
history of stuff that goes way, way back.
It is.
Way
Yeah.
back. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that I don't know. There's a lot of stuff we're not allowed to know, but
Right. Well,
that's
I
a
was
real
in the
thing.
women's version.
I got
So I was in
asked the Eastern Star.
Yes, I was in Eastern Star.
I had an
Yep.
invitation, but I did not. I could not fit it into my schedule. I had
Yeah.
thought about it though.
I was in Eastern Star and Daughters of America.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So many
I was
things.
actually I was head of the Women's Lodge in Daughters of America.
You knew some
Oh,
secret
okay. So
handshake.
like you do.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. We got some more stuff
Yep.
to talk about. So I'm gonna ask, do you believe in UFOs, I guess I'm assuming, since you are
Oh,
in love with
yes.
that story? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I totally
too.
believe this story. I believe they were abducted. They did the lie detector. They were all the same. They had the same story, the same test on the lie detector. I mean, there's no getting around that,
Yeah. I mean,
you know.
not that we all had to wait for the government to come out and be like, BT dubs, guys, they're real.
Right. Right.
Because we
We
all
knew.
were.
Like,
I
I
mean,
think some people just need that confirmation, but
right, because we need
I
to
mean,
trust the government 100%. Anyways.
you have to
Exactly.
be so self-centered to think there's not something else out there, you know?
Regardless of
Like,
what you
when
believe, it's been proven that the
when
universe is like a big old place. So
yes, when you think of what a tiny speck of dirt the Earth is,
well,
and
hey
we
there,
all
Steve.
live. Hey, Steve. Hey, Darren. Welcome. Hey, Ashley.
I don't see any of this chat stuff. Like, is there a reason I can't see this besides the fact
It's
that I
on
can't
the
work a
right-hand
computer?
side. It says chat. Click on chat.
Oh, I see. Ha ha ha! It's a big old
Yeah,
button. Okay.
just right there, top right-hand corner.
Hi, everybody.
One of the chat members really likes you, Shay. So
Oh yeah, Ashley is all about you, Shay.
Do I want to know? Like, I feel like this is.
Ashley the shark. She's
What
like,
is
you're
it
amaze
saying?
balls.
Oh, thanks. I'm just a big old dork, honestly.
We're all dorks. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, to think there's nothing else out there is just so absorbent to me.
Have you had like a personal experience?
I haven't. No.
All right, I was just curious.
But there has to be more out there. As big as the universe is, when you think of when you see an ant, you know, that ant is so tiny. And you think, what is looking at me like an ant? There has to be something up here
Oh
looking
my
down at
God.
me like I do that ant.
See that scene in Men in Black at the end where Earth is actually a marble and the kids are literally just playing with us?
Yes, exactly.
That always makes me laugh, but then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Well, what if? Like, and then Horton Hears a
Yes.
Who. I don't know if anybody's seen that child's
Yeah.
movie, but it's the speck on the clover, and I'm like, oh my God, are we somebody's speck? Like,
Yeah.
is this what
We
happens
are
when
a
earthquakes happen?
speck.
Is somebody just accidentally
Yeah.
sneezed wrong on the outside world?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. We are just a speck in the universe. So to think there's not something more out there is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I've had a personal experience, and I had a friend with me who can collaborate my story. And I
Yeah.
did lose time, and it was weird, and still have no idea what happened to this day. Lost time. That's what
There's
trips me out because I'm such a control
there's
person that I'm like,
yeah. Theirs
and
was
it
an
was
hour and
outside of a
20
bagel
minutes.
place. Ours was
Yeah.
about 45, 50 minutes. And first of all,
Yeah.
none of my friends decided to check on us that we were missing this long when we were not that far from the house. Just saying. Like, that's what bothers me the most about that
Thanks,
story.
friend.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So, UFOs, we've touched a bit on that. And yes, we will do another show that is a little more focused on UFOs at some point. But I would like to come with a little bit more information and maybe actually have a guest on for that one. So, we shall see. What do you have next on your list? Let me see what I have that I can match yours with.
I have some family stories, or I have more cryptids in Kentucky.
Okay, you share a family story because I did.
Okay, so my when my parents got married, so my parents are a lot older. So my mom was almost 40 when she had me, so she's 82 now. So back in that day when they got married, they had buried this girl in the floor of the house because that's what they did. And her and my dad slept in that room when they
What do you
first
mean
got
that?
married.
Oh, wait. That's what who did?
Yeah, that seems
Back
like
in
an
the
odd
day.
tradition.
No, that's not
Okay, so
normal. I don't care who you are. That's not a normal thing.
so they were really
Mm-mm.
poor, and so they buried the girl in the floor of the house until they could get her like elsewhere. So they just pulled up like the planks, buried her there, and then until they could move her.
Ew, the smell. Like,
So,
Can you
well,
at
she
least
was
get in the
in like
backyard? I mean,
right. She was preserved in a way, I guess. And my mom and dad slept in that room where she was buried in the floor, or under the floor, I should say. So in dirt under the floor. They were really poor. So you could pull up the floor and there's the dirt,
Jesus.
because they're old. My parents are very old. My dad's been dead for 15 years. So um, my grandma was born in 1913. So,
Okay.
so here's the girl buried in the floor, and they slept in that room on their honeymoon after they got married. And my mom said there was a record player in the room with no record on it, and she could hear the needle spinning on the record player.
What
But she
sets
would
the
flip
mood better?
the light on.
no.
But she would flip the light on and it would stop. Like she could see it like stop when she would flip the light on. She would flip the
Huh.
light off and she would just stay with the record on it, just the needle going on the blank turntable. And they think it was haunted by the girl who was buried in those floorboards.
I mean,
Did you say in the story what relationship your parents were to the girl in the floor? And I missed it.
It was my mom's. I don't know. It was my mom's relative, but I'm not sure how they were related.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in my mom's house.
do you know
My
how old
grandmother's
she
house.
was?
She was really young.
Like less than 5?
No, older, I think like 10 or less.
Oh Lord. I was thinking like 8-ish,
Yeah.
8 or 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9, I would think. Yep.
Oh my.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that's a creepy. That's yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
On that note, as far as like haunted houses go, I did go. Was it this past spring? Went back to Sawyersville. That is where my mother grew up. Grandfather was from there. I still have some relatives that live there. I still have relatives in Prestonsburg. But there is a house. It was my family's house. It was the house that I guess my great grandparents lived in and everybody was raised up in. There actually have pictures thanks to a second cousin who is like the family historian who keeps all this stuff, and she has like binders of it, and I spent forever going through it. The house itself, there's rumors that at one point there was a type of a really small tiny brothel, because of the way it was set up on the outside. There are rooms that you could rent out, like apartment rooms, very, very tiny. House is kind of falling apart a little bit when we went there, but I did see a few women, and there's a few things I said that she didn't tell me about the house until I got to walk around and stuff. And I was like, okay, here's what I'm picking up. Am I right? Also, my family on that side, and even according to my grandfather, moonshine's a thing. It is in the hills. There are roads that you better know where you're going or you ain't coming down. Hollers, all those things. So I know that moonshine was a thing that was done through there. I'm pretty sure my grandfather even told me he ran it a few times, because why not? My grandfather's an industry man. He has a whole life of a bunch of different things he's done. Also, the land itself isn't bad. Like, I didn't get a bad vibe from it. There's just a lot. And I do think there was a couple of relatives still hanging out there that I never met, that I actually was cool to walk through with my mom. And she was telling us some of her memories about the place. And I was picking up on a lot of conversations and memories and some other stuff. I'm like, who's this person? And she does this and he did this. And there was a room upstairs that I actually did not care for. You could get to it from the outside, but I didn't even want to go in it. It had the most hateful feel to it. Like, it literally, it wasn't even one of those, like, we don't want you here. It was like, if you come in this room, something bad will happen to you. And I'm going to make that happen. And I was like, who the hell is that? Because if that's a relative of mine, let's talk. Like, why are you the way you are? And it was cool. I got to like kind of learn a little bit more about some of my relatives and get verified with stuff. And I don't know, that one part was creepy. There's also, and my mom is the one who brought this to our attention. She used to talk about this all the time. And until I saw this picture, I used to think she was crazy. There's a photo. Well, little kids, and us as little kids, there's some things that you see in your mind that you're like, that scared the crap out of me. And then you see it later on and you're like, I don't know why that was so scary. No, this picture, it's a relative of theirs, and it was like an old relative. We're talking like late 1800s, maybe turn of century. The picture in my mind legitimately looks like somebody who was still in that picture. Like, their soul is trapped in there, like Dorian Gray kind of thing. And my mom talked about forever. She was like, there was this picture they used to have hung up, and it would scare the crap out of me. And I got the worst feeling from it, and I would never want to sleep in that room. And yeah, I got to see that picture that was in that house. It literally looks like it feels like there's a soul trapped in it. It is a little creepy.
Jeez.
I would like to research that particular relative a little bit more, but I'm like kind of interested to see if they weren't involved in some sort of not just traditional Christianity or whatever they were involved in. I feel like there was something else to it. Right. So that picture, that actually scared me. And I'm over here, I was like, it's not that bad. And then they picked it up and she turned it around. I said, oh my God. Yeah. Like, it was weird. And then my papa did tell me a few things about the house that he saw a few times. He's like, I don't know how I feel about ghosts. There was some weird things that happened, which tends to be most people's stories in this area. It's either they full on knew they grew up in a haunted house, or they're going to be like, I don't believe in ghosts. But there's this one time for about 17 years, I lived in this house with like 2 spirits. And I'm like, what? Like, this is when people find out what I do, those are the stories I get. And it's usually because I'm wearing a shirt that says something like ghost hunting or a location I've been to. And those are my favorite, though. They're always like, I don't believe in spirits, but there's this one time where our family was haunted for 70 generations. And I'm like,
Only
Right.
7?
I'm like, what? Awesome.
Yeah,
But
that's like
I
the library here.
I
Yeah,
would like to get us to go into this. I don't know if they sold the property or not, but this house would be one that I would actually like to go back and investigate.
yeah, that would be
I would.
awesome.
It's not got heat or anything, so I don't know if winter would be great, but unless they're thinking about selling it, if they are, then I'll be like, let's go tomorrow. Because
Yeah,
it's weird. The farm it's on is weird. It has its own feel. It's a good feel for me, but then there are some parts I'm like, not every family member in your family is always going to be a good person. Everybody's got
right.
secrets.
That's how
So
I feel about the farm out here, you know? It's like everything's fine up here, until, you see something, but down on the river, it's a whole different feel.
yeah, you get down in the bottoms, like if y'all don't know what a bottom is, even my dad's
In the
house he grew up
holler.
in. Well, the bottom generally is where you usually would have some sort of crop grown, corn,
Right.
tobacco, something like that. It's a really nice flat piece of land.
Mhm.
It's not quite a valley, but sometimes just because of where you live at out there, it is. But the
Right.
bottom that you could see behind the barn that's across the road, I was like, wonder what happened over there. And my mom's like, I don't really know of anything that happened. I was like, something happened. And I didn't get to go down there that day, but I have unfinished business with that property. So
Yeah. I
I'm gonna
think
go
that's
back.
what you'll feel out here too. Like, I found some history out here, but we need to dig deeper and talk to some people out here for sure.
I have a few
Yeah.
things in mind that I think I've seen just from talking to you. So I'm interested to see.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna write some pre-questions down and then I'll show them to
Yeah.
you when we get there and we'll see some things match up.
Yeah. Even if like it's cold and you just want to come out and just walk down there, you'll
I mean,
feel what I feel, I think.
there are some people who actually think that you can get better results for investigations during the winter.
The
I
cold. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know the logic behind that. Have I seen a lot of cool things in the winter? Yes, I've froze to death for some haunted stuff before.
Yeah. I think we
Absolutely.
talked about this, how the thinning of the veil comes in cold weather. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But yeah, come out anytime because you'll feel it when you go down there.
That's what she
It's
said.
just yeah.
Sorry. Gotta get warm.
You'll like it's 3 layers. So we have up here where the house is, then you go down to where you can walk along the river, and our land is long.
Yeah, her internet is going
The
in and
robot
out.
voice is great.
Yeah, it's ET. They've got her.
Oh God, don't say that because if this comes back up and she's like, "What day is it? What year is it?" You're like,
I don't know. It's like 2040.
I didn't age a day.
Time passes faster, but since I moved out here, time flies.
Yeah. So you got nothing. If you can hear this, there's nothing. You look real cute though with
She went to black and white too.
oh my God, this looks like a haunted photo we're looking at almost. Like
Yeah, it kind of does.
oh God.
Right, I'm black and white. My tattoos are all black. I'm wearing black and white. Yeah. I come in black and white.
You look a little creepy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's just I don't know what just happened with all your stuff, but so
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
3
all of your
layers.
equipment
There's the
just went
house, the
nuts.
river.
Yeah. I can see it. I'm totally black and white. like TV from the 50s.
That's okay. Leave it to Beaver. We'll just it's fine. We'll just direct on. It's fine. Your property being around a river has got a lot of stuff to do with a lot of things.
There used to be a whole town out here. You know, there was a hotel.
On your property?
It was all in this area. Yeah. Can I say the area I live in, Glenn? Is that okay?
It's your show. Your stalker's not on.
It's Nonesuch, Kentucky. And if you go back on the history of Nonesuch,
is that a real name?
It is, yeah. It's in Woodford County, where they make Woodford Reserve. But Woodford Reserve is on the other side of the county. So I'm in Nonesuch, and this used to be. So I'm real close to Wilmore, Kentucky. But it's called Nonesuch. Yeah. So
yeah. Headphones are
right here on the river was like the happening spot. You know, they had a grocery store, a hotel, everything was down in here. And now it's just land and a house here and there.
Nonesuch.
So,
I'm writing that down.
Yeah. So you can actually Google like the history, but
I don't want
we
to.
really need to talk.
I'm not going to Google it. I just want to write it down because, that's just so strange. We have a lot of weird names here, though.
Yes, we do. Bone Lick. Like
Possum Trot Hollow.
Possum Trot, yep. Yeah.
There's a lot.
Was Possum Trot on my list? I don't know. I wrote down no, there's Breckenridge County. Oh, it was Pope Lick, the Pope Lick monster.
Yes, it's a festival too. They have every year.
Yeah. So the
you want to go ahead and tell that one?
Sure. It's half man, half goat. People, they have it like they tell people not to go because people have lost their lives actually looking for the Pope Lick monster. It is like way up on these railroad tracks, and they say it's like accidental death, but a lot of us believe it's the actual Pope Lick monster.
Are the railroad tracks still active?
No, it's like our Tyrone Bridge. It's way up, and they think people just go up there and get injured and die, but
or drunk and fall off.
It's the Pope Lick monster.
It's like Lake Lanier here in Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah. So they tell people to stay away, but we have all kinds of stuff here in Kentucky. We have the sheep squatch. No, we have Sasquatch. We have sheep squatch. So it's half man, half sheep. It's been seen in Breckenridge County. It was the main focus on a very prominent show. Have you seen it, Shay?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it was.
A lot of Kentucky's been featured on a lot of different shows.
Oh, yeah. So we get really weird. So we have Sheep Squatch. It was featured on Monsters and Mysteries in America on Destination America, if you want to catch that. Sasquatch has actually been sighted 13 miles from my house on Greers Creek Road in Woodford County, Kentucky.
There's a lot of sightings around too, because Moorhead, actually, that area, Brown County, used to have its own Bigfoot hunts. Then you've got Red River Gorge. I'm right next door to it. I've had my own experiences with several different things in the gorge. Daniel Boone National Forest is to my south, like below me. Like I'm right in the middle of like everything over here.
Daniel Boone National Forest. That's a whole topic of its own. So
is Red River.
I don't know if anyone knows about Daniel Boone National Forest, but they found an FBI agent. Well, actually, it was a census taker, and he was hung from a tree with FBI or FDA or something carved in his chest, and they ruled it suicide.
You never know what you're gonna find in the forest here, to be honest with you. When you go, if you go looking for something, you're gonna find something. I can't guarantee it's what you went for, but you will come back
Yeah,
with a story or four.
you will find something. We
Or a
have the
video.
Lake Harrington, right? We have the Lake Harrington monster. Its nickname is Eel Pig.
I wish we had
Its
these pictures.
its name is Harry, and it is 15 feet long, and it has like a streamlined body, so it swims as fast as a motorboat can go. So watch out in Harrington Lake. Like we have a lot of shit here in Kentucky.
We have a
Can I
lot
say
of
shit?
lakes, dude.
We do have a lot of lakes, and then I live down here on the river. You never know what you're going to see. I can sit up here. If it hasn't rained and it's not muddy, you can see everything in the river. Like you
I
can
don't
just
I
sit
don't
up
go in the river
here.
anymore. Not
Oh,
since
well,
I
I
was a
don't go in
child.
any water with fish in it.
Are you
No,
serious?
I have ichthyphobia, the fear of fish.
Oh,
I'm not
oh,
going in any water with fish in it. My husband held me in the ocean in Jamaica.
it's
He
okay.
was
I'll be
I,
right there.
really, I was like holding on for dear life. I was like, "Don't let go, don't let go, don't let go." And then he was
Uh,
like, "Do you think you can walk back on your own?" I was like, "Sure." And then I
what
saw
did
all the
you?
little fish along the shore, and I was like,
Kentucky is kind of scary.
I can't
Yes, it
do
can
it.
be.
When you see what's in the Kentucky River, you do not want any part of water with fish in it.
We don't. I just all I have to do is look at the river. It glows green at night if you're not careful in some areas. I'm like, no, that's like
Yes.
Simpson stuff. I'm not doing it. Dead bodies and motor oil cans. No thanks. I'm good.
There's fish as big as Shay and I put together in the Kentucky River.
Oh, Cave Run Lake has scary ass fish too.
Yeah. It's
I've swum in a
insane.
bunch of. We hung out at lakes all the time when I was growing up, so I mean that's where I learned to
Mm-mm.
swim.
I ain't doing it.
It's probably
And
what's
of
wrong with
course,
me,
we
but
have
okay.
totally how I got the fear of fish. Of course, we have the Beast of LBL, Land Between the Lakes, which Greg has done his film on. The Beast, it's a wolf-like creature with human characteristics. It's also referred to as Dog Man.
Yep.
So that is Greg's film. Everyone check that out. The premiere is January 4th, and I believe someone told me it will be on YouTube on January 5th. I don't know if
Curious as
that's
to
true.
what they're gonna if they think it's a shapeshifter or like what they
Right?
think. I have my
I
own
can't.
opinion, but
I mean, I'm driving all the way to Alabama to see this premiere on January 4th
if I
because I
don't go
live
to
in
New Orleans, I'll be
Kentucky.
there with you.
Yes, definitely. Oh my gosh, you can ride with us. We're going.
Do not stay at the Econo Lodge.
No, not the Econo. I'll give you the link for the hotel we're staying at. We've already been through all the hotels down in Coleman, Alabama. And if anyone
Oh,
wants to join us, Greg, Glenn, Sportcat, and I will all be in Coleman, Alabama for the premiere of Land Between the Lakes on January 4th. Come join us. We'll be
I'll be
glad to
drunk
take
on the side of the
pictures.
street somewhere, eating a whole bunch of seafood, probably, and some boil.
Hope. Did you say blow?
Boil like a seafood boil. Oh God,
Boil.
no, mom. For the record, no, that's not. I've never. You're gonna get my ass
Boil.
beat. Jesus.
Boil. We have a shrimp boil going on in Louisiana.
I mean, Bourbon Street's wild, but damn.
It's wild. I would not doubt you would see that there.
Okay, what else you
We
got?
have you heard of the little green men in Hopkinsville?
Yes, and that is one of my
Okay.
sister's favorite things. My sister is
Mine too.
she's a huge cryptid lover. I mean, she like knows more about them
Yeah.
than I do. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say that I'm most knowledgeable. I know just enough, but she's very much like, no, that was on Mountain Men Monster Thingies, whatever, episode 2 back in
Yes.
the year. And I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, so
So my family is actually from Hopkinsville.
rock on.
So the little green men, let's see, I have it written down here. The first encounter was 1955. and there was 5 adults and 7 children who
It's a
went
weird
to the
story.
authorities. Yes, it really is. They went to the authorities and said, "Hey, we saw these little green men. We tried to shoot them. They're creepy AF."
Can I just say that the fact that most of the stories that come from Kentucky, our first line of defense is always, I shot at it and it didn't die. That's like
Yeah.
the first thing that comes across from anybody.
Yes.
Damn.
Like, if you step my neighbor even tells me, "Hey, I got some of your mail. I'm gonna put it in your mailbox. Don't shoot at me.
I mean, it's fair.
It's just me." Like, so that's how we roll out here. You're
Yeah.
gonna get shot if you come on my property. So they went to the authorities, 5 adults, 7 children. They all saw the little green men. 4 city police officers, officers, 5
Thought you said it was
state.
water.
I can't say it. Water right here. I just can't talk.
Yeah, that special water.
Yeah. 5 state troopers and 4 military officers all went out to investigate, and they saw nothing but the bullet holes where they tried to shoot at the little green men. And there's the family, they said they came back at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. So they left. They left town. They left their house. They left everything, and they were gone.
I mean,
And
if you
people
shot at me, I'm
still
not sticking
see
around.
the little green men were still there. The family left.
That's insane. Like,
Yeah.
I just, the military men though, like,
Yeah.
first of all, how on call were they to go out there and investigate that quickly?
Right.
So they must have already known something was in the area.
Well, right. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. And,
Mhm.
halfway between here and Hopkinsville, there are state troopers. There's like a
Yes.
station. But that's still an hour and a half to Hopkinsville because
And
they're in
Hopkinsville's
Litchfield.
not like, I'm trying to
Like,
think, there's
I
really not a whole
know when
there.
I
Is
drive
there?
to see my family in Hopkinsville, I know to slow down in Litchfield because the state troopers are there.
Yeah.
So they still have an hour and a half to Hopkinsville. I thought
I
about
don't
that earlier.
see,
I'm
I
like,
don't know. It's just there's a
Is
lot
there
of
a
weird things
military
about that
base?
story.
what, Glenn?
Is there a military base nearby?
Yeah, we have
Fort oh my God.
Fort Campbell. Fort
Thank you. I'm
Campbell.
like, Campbellsville Soup is
Yeah.
all that was in my head, and I'm like, that's
I know
not
I
what it
kept
is.
thinking Fort Knox, but that's Louisville. So yeah, Fort Campbell is close by. So yeah, they could have come from Fort Campbell.
But still,
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like everybody had their things all synced together.
Right.
I don't
I
know.
mean that's a lot of people. They had to know something was going on.
I just there's a few stories I've heard like that, and you're like, and these people were here in an instant. And I'm like, ever since you
Yeah.
realize the Mothman stuff and they talk about the Men in Black, like,
Right.
I'm just saying this whole area is like a big old belt that just kind of goes across to the east where there's all this weird crap that keeps happening, and they're always like,
Yeah.
mysteriously there were crews ready at hand, and I'm like,
Yeah.
are they on alert? Did they see this on their radar, or did they call them here? Yes, I
Yeah.
am that conspiracy person, 100%.
Oh yeah. Me too. That's why Shay and I get along so well. We're like, this shit is going down.
Somebody's lying. Like, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a lot of weird stuff in Kentucky, and everyone's always ready for some reason. We also have the Demon Leaper.
The what?
Have you heard of
What?
the Demon Leaper? Have you heard of the Demon Leaper?
I have a
Oh.
comment, but I'm going to keep it to myself.
So the Demon Leaper is actually, it looks like a gargoyle, and it lives atop the let's see, Walnut Street Baptist Church in Louisville.
I have heard something about this,
Okay.
but
So
I
it does
didn't think that's what it was called.
it resembles a gargoyle, and it lives atop that church in Louisville, and it's been spotted several times, just like everything else. People still report seeing the little green men in Hopkinsville. I can't talk tonight.
I wonder why they called it Demon Leaper, because technically gargoyles are guardians and protectors.
Right.
So why would they give
Yeah.
it such a terrible freaking name?
That's what they even say. It's a terrible name because it's not a demon. It's totally like a gargoyle.
Yeah, gargoyles are guardians. I mean, that's why they
Yeah.
were put on top of buildings and structures. They were protectors.
And
Demon
I
Leaper.
mean,
That just sounds like a bad superhero name.
Megan McMillan, who's in our chat, Megan, we need all of the helpers we can get in Louisville, right? Like, Megan lives
Yes.
in Louisville.
If you have locations that would like need to be investigated, man, there's one I want to get back into if I can ever figure out how to get back into Caulfields. That place was cool.
Yeah.
But yes, if you have any ideas
I'm
about
ready.
Louisville, feel free, because
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that place as much. I don't spend as much time there, but I would love to.
I
It's
feel
got
like
a
you
weird
have
history.
more connections on the places we can investigate than I do. I'm more like in the woods.
I do, but that's just because I've made a lot of friends, and I've met some strange folks, and people just talk to me. They just tell me, I got the coolest place for you to check out. And I'm like, oh my God, how do I get there?
I'm like,
So it's
I got
always
these
that.
woods, and I found this stone, and
That equally is cool, my friend. Like,
I heard this.
I could say I've been around, but that just sounds really bad. Not, yes, but it's true. Like, paranormally, I've been around a little
Beach
bit.
Boys. Round, round, get around. I get around.
That's not what was in my head, but I'll take it. It sounds better.
There you go. I got
A
you.
lot better.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other creepies? If any of our viewers and or chatters have had an encounter with any of these things that we have said, any of these monsters, legends, myths, real things, feel free to share your story, because yes, I love hearing about that kind of stuff.
I think we have more Sasquatch out here than they've let known. Like, even the sighting, like, you can Google and see there was a sighting on Greers Creek Road 13 miles from me. And living down here on the river, I feel like there's totally a chance of Sasquatch, with the woods, the water, and everything. Like, definitely. Like, he has to be out here.
There's a few things. I know my dad told me there's things that he heard even growing up, living where he lived, and the road that they lived on, it's on the way to this place called David, which is tiny, like tiny. Coal trucks run the road frequently. And he said he used to hear things. Of course, they're like, it may be an animal. He said there's a few times, though, there's things he heard. He's like, I don't have a clue what it was. All I know is I got my ass back to the house. Like, I was not sticking around to find out what was happening out there. And there's a lot of other cryptids too that are more specific to the Appalachian Mountain area. They have their own types of cryptids and ghosts and ghoulies, and a lot of, I even looked up the other day, just because out of curiosity, wendigos have always fascinated me, the way that they look.
Yeah.
So I'm like, have there ever been any sightings here? Absolutely. Up in the hills, there are some really weird freaking stories with like animals and things like that. So yeah, it's strange.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg. There he is. Sydney, what have you experienced at your parents' house? Tell us in the chat there. Yeah. We'll check out any place.
Where's your parents' house? Like, roundabout, not exactly, but like what location?
Just outside. Sydney is just outside Louisville, where she grew up, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Her and Megan are married. They're
Oh, gotcha.
wives. Yeah. They're some of my best friends. They're in Louisville. And I think Sydney was just outside Louisville when she grew up.
Okay.
Greg, hey! We'll have to get Greg and Glenn up here when we do some stuff around the farm here. They would love that. But Shay, you need to come out like
I'm really wondering if
like Saturday.
I'm really wondering if that wouldn't work. It's going to be like 30s, and that's doable.
Yeah. Yeah. We have the parade, the Christmas parade Saturday, but after that
It ain't got to be dark. I mean, even if it is, I'll take it or leave it, day or night. Those ghosts come out at all times, just like deer, as one of my friends discovered at one point in time.
Well, come out Sunday. You should come out
there is
Sunday.
another day in the weekend, isn't there?
Yeah.
My God.
There have been a lot of experiences with their ghosts. There is a little girl, Sydney says.
Sydney, just out of curiosity, do you think things follow you?
Yeah. Is it just at the house or?
Because I have a feeling about something about you, so I'm just curious.
Oh, okay. I've been to Megan and Sydney's house. Like I said, they're close friends. I haven't felt anything in their house or around their house. Sydney, have you or Megan experienced anything in your house? Or just your parents' house?
Or maybe Sydney's just extremely sensitive.
Okay. I haven't really experienced anything here.
If they want to, I can try and fire up the studio phone number. If anybody wants to call in, I can try it. I've never done it, but I can try it.
Yeah. We also have our voicemail set up. How do they get to that, Glenn?
There's a link. It's in the description.
But wait, there's more.
Right?
It's what is it? Speakpipe.com/2brokewitches.
I believe so. Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah. Speakpipe.com/2 broke witches.
Are you able to put that in the chat? I don't think I can comment.
I think I can.
Okay, Megan. So it's just at her parents' house. Okay. We'll have to get together and see if we can get in there. Do you think her parents would mind if we went in there, Sydney? Would your parents be up for a paranormal investigation in their house?
Oh my God, my computer's running low. What is happening? Okay, no, listen. I just charged this fully before I got on here, and this has never happened.
Yeah, it's because of this topic. Oh, okay. Thanks, Glenn. That's
Hold
great.
on, let me. Oh my God, this
Sydney,
never
that's
happened.
great. Sydney says they would love that, so we'll have to set up an investigation at Sydney McMillan's parents' house.
How do you feel excited for the first of the year? Because that sounds like a good idea for me.
Yeah,
see if I can get this
we used to ghost hunt at cemeteries when I was a kid. Okay, nice.
Yes,
and
my
Greg
favorite places.
Back in the chat, has anything felt in your house? Has anything felt you in the house? Have you felt? Greg, you're gonna have to translate that. I don't know. Greg, are you drinking? So.
Hey, the love God.
I'm sorry. Oh my God,
the love
work?
God just joined us and says hello there.
That name though.
There you are.
Say,
the love God.
I think it is.
Yeah.
You know the love God?
Who are you, love God?
Have you got a relationship with the love God?
Which one?
The love God. Is that you, my husband? The love God?
Wow. Guess what? I'm never going to call him again. His normal name.
Friday wants to be.
Abe is my stud muffin. That's his nickname.
I will not call him that when I see him.
He jokes. He says, "I'm 90% muffin, 10% stud."
That's precious.
Greg, you're the love god, Greg.
This is Kyle.
Kyle, welcome, Kyle.
Hello, Kyle.
Do you have any hauntings or experiences with the paranormal? Sydney, we have to get into your parents' house after the first of the year. That would be fantastic.
Sunday we could try and do your. Sunday we could for real try and do your farm.
Yeah,
I don't really know if I want to do it at night. I think I want to walk around in the day and see what we can pick up. You know, because I get tired of people saying that. Why is everybody just doing stuff at night? Is the only ghost?
Right.
No.
Well,
No,
I'm
it just
only
gets
out here in the
creepier
daytime.
vibe.
Yeah.
Well, people ask
know?
why, and I'm like, well, it's quieter. If you're in places with general population, technically, there's usually not a lot of more people.
Right.
There's less chance
Out
of,
here? It's pretty quiet
just,
24/7 out here.
You say that and I'll be there and you'll be like, oh, this plane's doing a flyover 50 times in a row. I don't know why.
Right. Oh, we did have a couple of helicopters recently because there was a body down here with the lock. And, no one put it in the newspaper. It was like hush hush.
So whose body was it?
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. It was very hidden. So we don't know what happened.
Want to talk
Was it
to
a
him?
black helicopter?
Yeah. I think they said it was blue. I wasn't out, but we walked down with the dogs one day and we were talking to one of the guys down the road and they were telling us a little more about it because they lived down at the dock and everything. So, yeah, it was really weird. Yeah.
I'm
Really
not sure
weird.
what I know. What is it I'm supposed to know?
Ask
I'm not
Glenn.
Greg's love god. I'm not
The
sure.
love. Why is Greg the love god?
There's a story I don't know if I want to know.
I don't know.
Megan said Sydney's messaging her parents now.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Greg's branched out. He's doing a different type of film. I don't know. I got nothing.
So, Token? What? Token? Who's Soul?
I don't know. We've got a dozen. We've got a dozen viewers.
So. Hey, everybody. Let's see.
That's the fun of the chat. You don't know who or what is there or what they're going to say.
Yeah.
I actually like live chatting. I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like unpredictability. Sums up my life.
Shay, did you have any other family stories or anything?
I've been told a few other things.
Yeah.
Haunted objects. Several of those that have been family heirlooms. One in particular was a radio. And I mean like an old radio. I believe it was like I ended up looking it up, 40s built radio, 1930s, somewhere around there. Actually belonged to my mom's side of the family. I bought it for $50 off of a great uncle who had it stored in our basement at my grandparents' and mine's house. And it was actually something I used to try and show that I wasn't making up that I had abilities. I didn't really know the history of this piece other than the fact that it was really cool. I love antiques. I love having that ability to touch things and get the story and the feel and know all that stuff about it and who had it and who owned it. So I did it for my mom. We were in the basement. And I ended up telling her all this stuff, even down to the point of like, this person smoked this kind of pipe, the tobacco smelled like this, his kids did this, his money was here, here's their house, on and on and on and on. And I even got a name. And I was like, this is the
Wow.
weirdest name I've ever freaking heard in my life. Does this mean anything to you? And she was like, I don't know. Cause this, it was a thing. We go back and forth about abilities and stuff like that. And I just remember I was like, he smoked this kind of stuff and da da da. She was starting to say something. All of a sudden she starts coughing, gagging and everything. She turns around and goes, that was smoke in my mouth, like tobacco smoke. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
well, I guess they don't like your attitude or your tone. Like I thought she was going to beat me to death. To verify, I ran upstairs and got my grandfather. I said, can you come down here and just solve this for me? Tell me if I'm crazy. He goes, no, you're right. I did have a Uncle Buell who had 2 sons, who made his money through oil, and who he lived like a pauper in this cabin, and he did smoke this kind of pipe and this kind of cigar and all this stuff. My mom's over here like, this means nothing. And she just walks away. And my grandfather's like, that's really cool. What else did you get? Mom, if you're watching, I love you. It was just, that was one of the funniest things I've ever had happen, to have my grandfather come down and be like, no, you're exactly 100% correct. Yes, good job. It was just hilarious. And I ended up taking this radio. I had it for several years, until it got to the point where I felt like the spirit that was in it, which I guess was Buell, my great uncle. And I felt like he finally had moved on or had left and gone somewhere else. And I was like, okay, I can sell this now. So I actually have a Victrola in storage I have not brought in yet. And it is an original Victrola. It is tall, stands like this high with the Victrola and part on top. Still plays records, still has original records that are on RCA Records and Columbia. They're the thick records, like their first ones recorded kind of thing. I haven't really got to talk to that piece too much. It also came from the same family, same house, came out of that old house actually that I went and saw this past year. So
we could actually
like
use that.
That's my mom. Marsha is my mother.
Hi, Mom.
I love Mom. But you know, it was funny.
We could use that on investigation, Shay.
Yes, it would be really cool to see. And there's a few things with
older
house,
places, so. You could put one of the flashlights on it to see if they respond with it on that, since it's an older.
I never thought about that. There's a few things I could do.
Yeah, I've seen them hook them up to like bee spirit boxes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cat balls. Remember, we had the guest who said cat balls work best.
Yeah, cat balls.
So what?
It responds, but it would respond like a cat ball, almost. If you
I've used the flashlights before.
Yeah.
If you did hook it up, I wonder.
It would almost
respond. I wonder what it would do if you had a blank record and you just let it do it.
Like in the house where the girl was buried in the floorboards, my mom heard it spinning with no record on it.
What did she say?
We could get a response. The UFO that Papa and the whole town of Salyerville.
Yes, that was one of the first things we started out with. I cannot find his Bible. I don't know. It's in this house because I've looked at it recently, so I must have sat it down somewhere and it had the dates in it. But yeah, the whole town.
See if the light colors were the same. The girls in 1976 said the blue light shone through the back window of the car. I have all my notes here on that. I mean,
Mom, I actually told them about that creepy haunted portrait picture thing of your long past relative as well. Do you remember how you're related to the creepy portrait that looks like it still has the soul of 1,000 people inside of it?
That reminds me of the library here, because there was a portrait of the man in the library who haunted the library, and now it's in the basement of the library here in Versailles.
I think we maybe just need to just take a visit. We could just walk through the library and just with a recorder and stuff and see what happens.
It's upstairs in the library. I volunteered when I was a teenager for the summer reading program, and I would sit up there by myself cutting out like the different little things for the kids to put up on the walls, and I saw his shadow by the back door where it went down from the outside. No one ever used that door. It was like a fire escape, so it was just stairs in case of an emergency.
Well,
But it was like a big room where all the kids would sit for the summer reading program, and Miss Green would show like little cartoons up on the wall with the projector. And
the original Clark County Library is not where it is today. It was actually on Main Street. And when I was little, it might have been somewhere else originally, but it was on Main Street in this old church building. And I think it actually is a church once again after they built the new library. It was, I loved it. I loved it. Now that I know what I know, there's probably a reason that I freaking loved that building. There was a certain part of it, though, that I would always go to and I would sit in and I'd feel like I was just so welcome. And I know for a fact there was a female spirit in that place, like an older lady, and she had like grandma vibes. And I just now thought about that. I wonder if I'd ever be able to get back in there.
that would be cool.
Writing that down.
Yeah.
What did she say? Yes.
I did not like that picture at all.
It was like a great grandmother. It was like to me, it would have been like my 4th or 5th grade relative.
Yeah.
It's a haunting photo. I took a picture of it. I'll have to post it on our page and see what people think about it.
Yeah. Is it going to be like the creepy dude from Ghostbusters 2?
Oh, no. Oh, you mean the guy that comes out and steals the child? Okay, fun fact. When that movie came out, let me just explain why this is actually horrifying to me. Mother can verify. When that came out, probably shouldn't have been watching it at the age I was. My brother was an infant. Okay. And to this day, that still unsettles me. Apparently, I legitimately thought that the man was coming through the television in that portrait to steal my baby brother. So apparently I did nothing but cry and scream and have dramatically meltdowns. Even to this day, I have a hard time when I go to conventions and people have that thing like posted up. I'm so sorry. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things I watched as a child that still stick with me today. So thank you, family. Yes. Vigo, was that his name in the movie? Oh, she's frozen. No, she's not.
And yes, everyone go like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel. It's YouTube on YouTube at Paranormal Guyz. Guyz is with a Z. Yeah, and then you can catch all of our shows and our craziness.
Yes, welcome to the. I can't even say controlled chaos. It just literally is a free for all.
Right.
Welcome.
Tell us what you believe, what experiences you've had. We're starting in Kentucky, and we'll just go from there.
Well, somebody's audio just opened up with a lot of static. Did anybody else hear that?
Mm-hmm.
I hear like a little feedback echoey thing.
No, it was a lot of static that just came through my headphones. Interesting.
Maybe your person at your house just walked up behind you.
Stop.
Okay. You said, you know what? No, I ain't gonna tell you anymore. Forget it.
No. If you see it, well, I mean, if you see him, let me know. But
you just said stop. So yes or no?
Well, no, I did. Whatever.
Oh, so yeah, we actually have there's several crybaby bridges actually in the U.S. And we have one here in Whipper County. It's actually just a couple miles down the road from me. Yeah. So we can stop there too, Shay.
Yeah, there's a few bridges here that I've been on that are a little sketch.
Yep. This one for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we got the
Are we going to do
bridge.
a normal road trip and have a whole weekend and just do a whole bunch of stops?
That's what we need to do. we'll just load up in my truck and take off.
All from suggestions from viewers like you. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do with that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. Make our
I
way to
used to
Louisville.
sleep. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can stop at Megan and Sydney's, check out Sydney's parents' house, eat at Noche.
Okay. What is Noche?
Noche is one of my favorite restaurants in Louisville. So
Is it a Mexican restaurant?
it is. And it's in like this old church. So it's very gothic. And they have these like skull pictures all over. And they have a big skull at the front door. And it's amazing. And you get this plate of like barbecue nachos. It's like stacked. This it makes like 3 meals. I mean, it's super expensive, but you get like 3 meals out of it.
I do have a couple of friends who are in the paranormal in Louisville. I could always see what else we could come up with, and they're pretty cool people. They're kind of known in the community. I'm not gonna like name drop, but
yeah.
And
we have Greg Ogles on our show. You talk about name drop, like he's in our chat.
Haunted Discoveries. So
yeah. That's awesome. You know, it's funny because we do the places that haven't been explored a lot. I've never been to Waverly. Like it's so just my grandmother went there for TB. Like she had tuberculosis and was at Waverly.
Did she survive, I guess?
Yeah. I wouldn't be here if she didn't.
Well, I didn't know how old she was. I'm sorry.
Yep. She survived. Yeah, she did not get sent down the body chute.
I love Waverly.
Yeah. I've never been.
Very cool place. I have investigated it once completely and thoroughly. Did a complete overnight with a couple of friends.
Yeah.
And I've done a couple of events there too, where I've gotten to like read all day, and of course spirits come by and talk to you and stuff.
Yeah. Yes, Chris. I'm terrified of fish. Nothing else, just fish.
God love its little heart. Day was great at Waverly. Oh, that's right. Kyle, my friend Kyle. Dude.
Oh, you know Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is your name the Love God? First of all, let's have a conversation about that. Yeah, Kyle was my friend at Waverly with me. He was one of the overnighters. I've known Kyle for a really long time. He's freaking amazing. One of the most smartest men I've ever met in my entire life, and I mean that legitimately. So, and just a great friend. Waverly was awesome until we got to the bats. Other than that, it was great.
Waverly,
my newest book.
that makes sense. Everyone's been there. You know, that's why Shay and I are here to investigate the things that haven't been investigated so much. You know,
it's the small places.
Yeah. You know, everyone's been to Waverly. You know, we're gonna hit these places that have not been investigated. I've heard all the stories of Waverly. Let's get some stories that haven't been heard.
Yeah, I feel like next year is going to be busy.
I've got a haunted tree.
I'm gonna do a shameless plug here. Kyle, email me. We'll get you on one of our shows for.
You should have Kyle. He's written several books.
Yes, Kyle.
You have a book about Waverly too, didn't you? And I didn't know that when I was just spewing off of this stuff during the investigation. And you're like, I know.
Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, we'll have you on our Wednesday night show, and then you can be a guest of ours here on Two Broke Witches. We're gonna start having some guests on here as well. Right, Shay?
Kyle can do an investigation with us too at some point.
Yeah. Where's Kyle located?
I'm going to get it wrong Are you in Tennessee now or no? Because as for all I remember, you're always in Georgia, but I know you're not there.
I know some of these people travel so many places.
Kyle has some of the cutest puppies on the planet.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I love dogs. I have 2
South
pets.
Carolina.
Oh, I
Wow, I
love
suck
South
at life.
Carolina.
My bad.
Well, Shay and I want to go to Savannah, so it's pretty close.
Shay will probably be in Savannah at some point next year, but we will go back.
Yeah,
Shay's
we
working
need
on
to go.
something else on the side too.
Yeah, I'm glad to go to Savannah. You let me know when.
Savannah is one of my favorite cities I've ever visited in my entire life.
Mine too. I love the Pirate House. I went to the Pirate House.
The food was good.
Mhm.
Okay.
I didn't
That was
steal
fun.
anything in there though.
Oh, I saw a few things. There's a lot of.
Yeah.
I see stuff all the time. So,
Yeah.
especially in a place like that in Savannah, there was just stuff constantly. Everyone's like, "Have you felt anything?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's there's a few things, but there's also like 54 men standing over here, just And I feel bad when I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's some dead people." And of course, I'm like, the average Joe would be like, "Oh my God, where?" And I'm like, "I'm tired. I want to eat." Like, well, I'll get with them in a minute.
That was
I
like
mean, if there's anything behind me, that's all I'm worried about. So
There
like
was earlier, but
15
you're
years
good now.
ago.
great.
You're good, Glenn.
Man, woman,
I was there like 15 years
Oh.
ago, and I didn't really start feeling things until about 10 years ago.
Shay, remember?
In Moon River.
Yes, that was actually the first place I ever met Kyle was in Savannah. The first investigation he has ever seen me do. The man put me through the hoops because the first thing he said to me was, "I don't believe in psychics." And I was like, "Nice to meet you too. Thank you so much." And I'm like, "Who is this jackass?" Like, it was,
You believe in them now, Kyle?
I think he believes in a few. He's a super healthy skeptic, and he has good reasons for things. He's very logical. So,
Yeah.
That's why he's the love god.
yes, but Moon River Brewery holds a special place in my heart. And I'm sad to hear that it will no longer be a thing, probably very soon.
Yeah.
Moon River had a lot of stuff. Whew. So, yeah. Anything else?
I want to go with you to the meadow.
The what?
The meadow.
With me?
With Shay. We need to take
What's-
Shay to the meadow.
What is that?
I'm kind of scared to go to the meadow though because of the things that have happened to people.
So you
who
want
go
to take
the
me
meadow?
somewhere that you're terrified that we may not survive.
You survived for a
sounds
little
like-
while.
What the hell does that mean?
I mean, you could be probed too. There's all kinds of things at the meadow. So there's everything
I
from
mean,
Alabama White Thing to Men in Black to boxes that appear out of nowhere, vehicles
just an
that
average
appear
day
out
in
of
the park for
nowhere.
me.
Yeah, it's a very unique place. Very
I
unique.
really am
place.
broken. I truly am damaged to things that should probably terrify me. I'm like, let's see what happens.
Yeah. We need to go to the meadow.
Yeah,
Where
It's
is
kind of like
that?
going to like Skinwalker Ranch, right?
it's a lot of people are comparing it to that. Yes, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a place in North Georgia too, where I lost time. I got totally disoriented in the woods, which isn't like me. And it's a weird bunch of weird things happen there. So yeah,
You think it's headlights and it's just not. It's orbs. And yeah.
Well,
Like the Joplin lights.
well, I was driving, and all the scenery kept staying the same.
Okay.
It was just like continual. Like it was in a continual loop. And
Where is this place at?
Well, that was in North Georgia. That was.
Where's the meadow?
Well, I'm not going to say on the air. So.
Yeah, I can let you
what?
know.
All right.
Yeah,
because
we
I was
can't.
just like, I
I
get it
actually
now.
signed a
Yeah.
non-disclosure agreement. So
Yeah,
Jesus
we can't
Christ.
actually
Okay.
announce it. Yeah,
I'm
but we
intrigued.
need to go to the meadow.
Yeah, the Meadow is a
Alright.
very unique place. And
Yeah.
actually, Greg, part of his film was in the Meadow, or
Oh, that's
his
right. Yeah.
part's in the Meadow. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm
We
down.
definitely-
Sign me up.
yeah, we definitely need to make our way to the Meadow. Some places here in Kentucky, and yeah, I'm excited.
a word of advice: if you go to the Meadow, we need to go to group. So,
Yeah.
And there's that static again. Yeah, we have to go as a group. You don't want to go onesies, twosies, threesies. You want to go
Right.
So follow horror movie rules. Nobody separates, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
pretty accurate.
Don't get naked. Don't separate. Don't have sex.
No, wait a minute.
Don't be drunk.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Where these rules come up with? So,
These are horror movie rules if you want to survive, sir. I didn't say you had to conform to them. I'm just listing them.
all right. You begin to freak me out a little bit here. I was like, well, I'm never taking them in the woods now. So
Oh, you do what you want, boo.
Kyle's like, I'm in.
You'll be okay.
Yeah.
You think Darren would go with us? I can get Abe to
Oh,
go because he's a skeptic. He's like, yeah,
absolutely.
nothing's gonna happen.
Me and Darren had an
It's a build.
experience when we went to Skybridge at the Gorge a month ago.
Yes.
I even caught it on photo. Did I send you that photo?
Yes.
Yes. The
Yeah.
one that you can see like the orb, but like an outline of a person, and it's not even on the rock part. It's literally like off the edge.
Maybe you didn't send me.
Yeah, I had been sitting there. We were walking after I got up and stuff, and we were walking, and I heard somebody said, well, hey there.
Yeah.
Like right in my right ear. And I was like, hello. And I was like, you didn't say anything, did you? And he's in front of me, and he's like, no, but there are spirits here. And I was like, I'm aware now. So I was like, I said hello back. I was nice. But then I took a picture, and I wasn't like facing the sunlight because it was super bright, clear day. It was really pretty. There's like this, and I'm not a person that's like, oh my God, I have orbs in my photo, because I know the legitimately like few of those photos, most of them are crap. I hate to be that person, but unless you have like a really good one, don't come at me with all these photos where you've been in this dusty building and you're like, I have 50 billion orbs in this photo. No, ma'am, you have asbestos and dust. Like, this is what you're getting in this photo right here. This is legitimately, it's not small, it's large, rainbow, iridescent, and there's almost an outline of a body that you see in it. And it was right where I heard that voice, but I took it shooting towards the ridgeline, and I'm standing on the edge of the cliff, so had to be like right in front of me, hanging over the edge. It's a very cool photo. Red River Gorge, man, there's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
It was cool.
You have
But-
something to your right.
I need to me.
Me?
Yeah.
Him? You said
Shay.
yes.
Yeah.
Me? Right
Yeah,
now?
something keeps popping up to your right.
Well, there's
Right
a few things. Well, that's
Yes,
probably my
okay.
background, but there is, I keep looking over here because there is somebody every time we've done a show so far that has walked in my
Yeah.
kitchen over by where the cat food and stuff is. And I keep checking to see if it's
Yeah.
actually my cat. It's not. It's
Yeah,
just the
there's-
guy.
Something right there.
I need to
A relative of mine.
introduce you all to Nikki. She's a psychic, but in a different way. You can think of someone, a loved one, a lost one, and then just at random take pictures around you and send the pictures to her, and she will show you where they are in the picture. And
That's
she
fun.
does it in a way that she does use Adobe when she's showing you, all right, I'm going to put the photo of who you were thinking of over it, and then she takes it away, and it's like, it's plain as day. You can see it. It's the creepiest thing. So,
Oh, that's crazy. Shay
There's
definitely
like
has
a-
something to her right.
Well, there's like,
I
Somebody's
think I just heard
walking.
footsteps. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, I thought
Yeah.
I have one of those robot vacuums I thought was on. It's not, so I don't know what that noise was because the cat's sitting over here to my left.
No,
And that
there's
was like
something to
in
your
my
right,
kitchen.
and there's
Like my
footsteps.
kitchen's right next to me.
Yeah.
That was really loud.
Yeah.
I think it's my fat ball.
We heard footsteps. There's definite
Yeah.
footsteps.
I think
Yeah.
it might be my. I got a whole bunch of cold chills. I think it might be my papa
Yeah.
on mom's side. So probably because I was talking. Do you know where your Bible's at in my house? If you can show me where it's at, that'd be really cool. I can't find it, and I made me really sad, and I wanted to cry earlier. So maybe he'll help me out. A new thing I would like to do that I'd like to start wrapping up the show with is do kind of like a, not so much as a weekly forecast, but kind of like, here's what's coming potentially. It's kind of pull a card to wrap everything up. I've been in the mood to do that lately. I haven't been doing it, so I think I'm going to try it tonight.
I've been watching all these shows that we're all going to die within the next 20 days or something. So sure, tell us something good.
We're going to what?
Die within the next 20 days?
Yeah, there's a bunch of doom and gloom podcasters, and they get a bunch of clickbait putting stuff out there about, the financial market's going to collapse before February. And
did you hear that?
No.
Like it shook my table.
Let's all to do it again.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was you or my loud neighbors, who aren't loud. They're really nice neighbors. Thank you for loving me. Or can you like knock on something super loud, or knock on this table, or knock my light over? Feel free. It's hanging by a thread anyways.
Don't knock the light over. Abe and I got in a tussle one night, and he knocked my lamp over.
Nah, feel free, man. This thing's been kicked around a few times already.
I pick on him now. I'm like, don't kick my lamp.
For the record, there's nobody else in this house except me and my cat. My child's not here tonight, so.
Oh, there's a lot going on in your place tonight. There's a lot of noise.
That was a knock. I don't know if you can hear that, but
there's a lot of noise in your place tonight.
Thank you. Well, I asked a lot of questions earlier. I was asking for help finding that Bible hardcore, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kitchen.
Where in the crap would I have put it? There's no telling. I have put milk in a cabinet and like toothpaste in a fridge before, so there's no telling what.
Some recipe books. Maybe it got mixed in with recipe books.
Are you on some good drugs?
No, I'm glad you think I cook like that though, but
I get all of my recipes from Pinterest.
I just throw stuff together and pray to God it works. Okay. All right. We have a winner because that card came out hard. This is my tarot/oracle deck. It's the one I've used the most. It's my go-to when I'm doing readings for people. Okay. I didn't think this was going to come up, but this is kind of cool. So, you're just tuning in. I'm pulling a card for here's what's a heads up this week, something you might need to look out for, or something that maybe have been on your mind for a little bit. And maybe I'm speaking directly to one person, if not just a general overview. Oh my God, why is it doing this? This is awful. I don't know if you can see it without it doing stupid things. This is the Unity card. Why in the world does it look like that?
I think it's just the
do you have a background on?
I have a blurry background. My Jesus, that makes it look scary. This is the Unity card, which is not in a traditional tarot deck. This one does have a few extra cards in it, which is one reason I do like to use it. This card typically shows up when people seem to be having a hard time figuring themselves out, or going through some sort of a spiritual crisis with their identity, or they just feel like they're not fitting in. They're trying to find their tribe. I think that this time of year typically does tend to lean towards this kind of thing. This is the time when people start to do a lot more shadow work, which is basically just a really neat way to say you're working on the stuff about yourself that you don't like, things that you can't ignore. So this week, I'm going to say that if you have somebody or someplace that makes it feel like home, go there, be there, do that. Find time to hang out with people who are your people, who are your same kind of weird, who do make you feel like you matter. This time of year is really hard for people who are by themselves. We all know the grief and PTSD and the bad things that go on at this time of year because people do feel alone. This is not the first time this message has like shown up in the last couple of days. So if it feels like I'm preaching to you, I am, then this is for you. And if not, maybe this is a time for you to check on those that have crossed your mind randomly in the last couple of days. You're like, you know what? I haven't checked on them in a while, or I haven't seen them in a while. This might be the week that we reach out and say, hey, how are things? If you have an extra 30 minutes, yeah, let's meet for coffee. Yeah, we can FaceTime. FaceTime is still very much a thing since COVID. Zoom meetings, all these kind of things have been super helpful. So if you can't be there in person, then, reach out that way. Also, it seems important for me to say that you don't have to choose just one religion. Or even better, you don't have to be just one thing. Humans are multifaceted creatures, so don't try to put yourself in one box. You can be a multitude of things. So thank you for that message. It's brought to you by the spirits or my cards.
Whoever's in your house.
All of them. I don't know. There's a multitude tonight, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Wednesday night, you can tune right here into this channel and the Paranormal Guys. And we have Aiden James. He's a novelist, and he's written a book about the scary stories of Cades Cove and a couple other places. And then at 10 o'clock,
I was just there.
There's quite a few stories about Cades Cove. And at 10 o'clock, a returning guest, Althea. She is a life coach, metaphysical teacher, author. She's kind of like a jack of all trades. She's coming back to spend some time with us, so that'll be kind of good.
Okay.
So,
Shay,
yeah,
you're always welcome to join us on Wednesday nights as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah,
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a good time?
Yeah.
I can always hop on for a few.
Yeah.
I was trying to talk Greg into coming on too, so
yeah,
hopefully he'll make an appearance there too.
More than merrier.
And then Saturday we got the Misfits, so everybody make sure to tune in. That's a comedy show that I could never get Shay to do. You have to drink when you do it. It's like so
I could do it. Have you met me? My whole life is like that, man.
Mom is watching, but
that shirt Mama tried, like that's probably the motto.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have the Misfits. That's a comedy show where last week we discussed conspiracies that were going to end the world. So I don't know what we're going to discuss this week. There's so many of them. There are so many of them. And then we'll be back to you gals next week. So
yeah.
And we may actually be talking about Amanda's property on Monday.
Yes. Yeah. You'll have to get out here this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what you pick up on.
She's offered to have me freeze to death while looking for a monster that could potentially throw me up a tree. So what could be better?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly.
And like Chris says, please come over and find us on the YouTube channel, the Paranormal Guys with a Z, and like, follow, share, and subscribe. And if you don't, Chris will kick my ass. So please do it.
And thank you, Ross.
And yes, thank you to Ross at Yergs Radio. You can always go and find us here if you can't watch at yergsradio.com or rainbowradio.com. We appreciate Ross and his support. Anybody else we got to thank or plug? We talked about Greg's movie. We got to show.
Thank you all of our people in the chat tonight.
Absolutely.
I very much enjoyed it. Thank you.
Absolutely. We've had quite a few tonight. I'm excited about that. So
shout out to my mom making an appearance.
Yeah. Megan and Sydney and all you guys.
And my good friends.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have to go out of here on a video, so we will see you all soon. Everybody have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Mwah.